So now typically I would ask for a motion to approve the draft audit. With these changes, do I continue that way? I apologize for not knowing, but I want some guidance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion to approve with the adjustments as discussed.
Okay, so if I'm going to ask for a motion to approve with these adjustments being added to these draft statements. So would anybody like to provide a motion?
This is Phil Smith. I'll move that.
In a second.
Joe Rizzo, second. Morning.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And any opposed? And any abstained? Okay. All right. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lynn. I'm going to move right along over to Hanif and the Finance Committee. Hanif, if you would.
Yes, good morning, everyone. We met and we approved the minutes for the October 1st meeting in 2018, and then we went into executive session on a personnel matter, and that matter was to that the board recommended to approve the creation of a new operations analyst position in the Economic Development Division, and also to amend the budget for salary and merit increases for one of the economic development employees. If Lydia is here, I think she can speak a little bit more to what the new operations analyst position is and what it is for. And if there's any questions on the budget, salary, and merit increases, we can ask her. If not, I can move on here. So we came out of the executive session on this matter, and the committee recommended the approval of the creation of the new operations analyst position and to amend the budget for salaries and merit increases. The committee also reviewed the current assets of Monroe County Industrial Development Corporation, and we'll continue to review those over the next few months. But the committee reviewed the current fee structure, and upon a motion by Chris and seconded by myself, we approved the committee of keeping the existing fee structure. On a motion by Chris and seconded by me, the committee recommended the board approval of the charter with no changes also too. The committee also reviewed the following policies: the investment policy, procurement policy, travel and business expenses. And on the motion of Chris and seconded by myself, the committee recommended the board approve the investment policy with no changes. And on the motion of Chris and seconded by myself, the committee also recommends the board approve the procurement policy with changes as discussed. And on the motion of Chris and seconded by myself, the committee recommended the board approval of travel and business expenses with changes as discussed. Those changes, we could look to Robin for the details on those. They sort of escape me right now, but they were very, very minor changes, and we adjourned. So we're going to need a motion to approve the creation of the operations analyst position and amend the budget for salary and merit increases.
This is Chris Johnson. I'll move. This is Peter. I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Just to comment on the operations, some restructuring there. I thought the staff was really thoughtful. We're trying to set a standard here on how we conduct business, and it was really an identified need that we're going to fill. So moving on, Zach, if you would review the governance committee for us.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. The governance committee met on March 3rd. We reviewed and had no changes to recommend on both the corporation bylaws and the charter. We also discussed that all new programs should be reviewed and discussed by the executive committee in the future before being presented to the full board. And then finally, we reviewed all the policies. There's some minor cleanup work that Rachel recommended, and I'll let Rachel go into details about that.
So the chart that Robin distributed lists each policy with the nature of the changes. And in the interest of time, I'm happy to just answer questions anyone might have on a specific policy in lieu of going through each of them, unless that's the board's desire.
All right, is there any questions about any of the cleanup work? All right, do we need a motion, Peter?
Yes, it'll be a motion to adopt and readopt the policies and changes as recommended.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry,
We need the motion.
Aye.
Sorry, we need a motion in a second.
This is Peter, I'll make the motion.
second.
Who is the second?
Honey.
Honey.
All right, thank you.
Great, thank you, Zach, and thanks for that lightning round, and everyone. We could have been held up for some time. Each of the committees, particularly the governance committee, did spend quite a bit of time looking at these policies. Again, I want to commend everybody. This conference call is a new way of business. I appreciate it. This might be the first one where I haven't heard the dog barking or the kids yelling in the background. So we're doing really well, and we'll continue on. We also reviewed the bylaws, and I'm seeking a motion to readopt our bylaws. We've had no changes.
Motion to approve, no result.
Dave Brooks, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Just step to the next one, which is our mission statement and performance measures. Again, it's a readoption of our existing mission statement and performance measurements without change. And again, asking for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion. Andy.
Lynn, I'll second.
Thank you. Can I just go with the any opposed? Can I assume approval without opposition?
Yes.
Thank you. We have an item here, a readoption of charters for each of the audit, finance, and governance committees. Again, requesting a motion to readopt those committee charters without change.
So move.
Thank you. A second?
Second. Jeff.
Yeah, thank you. And any opposed? Thank you. Robin, we have a board evaluation summary, and somewhere in the email, I think I may have missed that one.
No, you didn't get it because I was home up until today and I had left the whole folder here in my office. I still have to summarize everybody's responses and I will email that out this afternoon. Sorry.
Okay, so I think we'll skip that item for now.
Yeah, I'll email it out, and it's really there's no board action on it. It's just a review you just, take a look and note if there's any issues, which we can do via email, and then I submit the summary results to the ABO.
And anyone have any questions on that? Otherwise, we'll just note that we're skipping this item.
Yeah.
No questions here. Thank you. Thank you. In response to the evolving situation here, Anna, I'd ask you if you'd walk us through the county's response to the COVID-19.
Yes, absolutely. So in light of the COVID-19 outbreak, you of course are aware that local small businesses are struggling with reduced revenue. We are proposing the establishment of a loan program to support affected small businesses that are laying off workers because of reduced demand or production or supply chain stagnation, and also because of Governor Andrew Cuomo's executive order mandating that employers operating non-essential businesses reduce in-person workforce by 100%. Our proposed initiative, the Monroe County Emergency Small Business Support Program, will take the form of a zero interest loan fund facilitated by the Monroe County Industrial Development Corporation in partnership with Comida, and small businesses meeting the eligibility requirements as laid out by the U.S. Small Business Administration, which are negatively impacted by COVID-19, would be eligible to apply for assistance. We have prepared and are continuing to finesse a draft short form application, and our department staff will process those applications and administer the loans as efficiently as possible. The purpose of the program is to provide working capital to businesses as a stopgap to cover costs that they may be unable to pay. We're proposing that small businesses which can provide evidence of financial hardship brought on by COVID-19 would be eligible for loans of up to $10,000, and repayment we're proposing would begin in January 2021 for a term to be determined. We're asking for personal guarantees of all ownership. Applicants must certify that the use of funds would be for purposes of covering fixed and variable operational costs to remain in business and to cover some lost revenue due to COVID-19. And MCIDC will reserve the right to review and audit company records. This is a draft proposal and is subject to MCIDC board approval. As such, we are asking for your input and feedback. We are seeking to establish a fund for said loans of up to $500,000 and subject to further review down the road as the crisis continues to unfold. And with that, I'd like to open it up for board comment, and also if Lydia Burr has any additional commentary as this proposal comes from her team here in our department.
Right, so we're envisioning it's really targeting businesses of 50 people or less, thinking that they are probably most vulnerable in terms of depth of financial relationships in terms of lines of credit, et cetera. And we expect that there would be a number of retail businesses applying for this.
Lydia, I missed that. How many employees are left?
50.
50.
And Lydia, I apologize if you already said this. I know a lot of our programs are from manufacturing companies. Is this going to be open to just any type of company, like, service companies, the engineering, especially the dentists and medical practices that are really suffering right now? Is it going to be open to all businesses, or are we going to limit who this could help?
Sure. I think dental practices are definitely an option here because they have been required to close except for emergency activity. Quite frankly, I believe they will be.
Okay, all right, good.
I think we're.
Go ahead, Lydia, sorry.
so there's, obviously limited funds. We're not going to be able to reach everyone. And we want to be thoughtful how we do this. We looked at other communities and what their revolving loan funds for this crisis look like, and feel ours is most responsive because it's most flexible.
And in our draft application, healthcare is a category, as well as retail and other service businesses. So yes, to Lydia's point, we are maintaining as much flexibility as we possibly can.
We are not going to require collateral.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that last statement.
We are not going to require collateral.
Okay.
And we will definitely, or not definitely, but we would expect that not everyone will be able to pay it back. So that's a different event, if you will, than we've historically seen. I did have a conversation, an extensive conversation with Jeff Parker. He evidently is not on the call today. And
Jeff is on the call.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're thinking this is the way to approach the situation at this moment in time.
If this is Joe, I had a question. Did you say also including the small manufacturing community?
Yes.
Okay. And the reason I'm bringing this up too is, there are some manufacturers that I'm hearing that they're already been retooling to look at different kind of medical devices to help support the effort for this coronavirus. Okay, you've answered my question. So manufacturing is kind of part of the umbrella.
We're casting as wide a net as we possibly can, given the circumstances.
Thank you.
This is Phil Smith. I would just make the comment relative to Lydia's comment that we're going to approach it on a liberal basis and not be as concerned about repayment. I would look at this as if we were making a $500,000 contribution, structure it as loans and everything that goes with that, but approach it on the basis of helping these companies get through this crisis and not really be all that concerned about whether we ever get paid back.
I agree with you 100%, Phil.
Well, I'll say this here, that the way that this is presented, it sounds like a grant to me more so than a loan. So, and I'm not opposed to the language or anything. I mean, the intent is a good intent. But maybe it's couched that way. I don't know. I guess if we have it as a loan, that, it does make it where folks have to qualify for it. But if we're not really trying to maybe seek repayment so much, or if you can repay it, or if you can, more than likely you can. It sounds like a grant to me. That's all that I'm saying.
Lydia, can you address that?
Yes. So, I mean, I think, the structure we decided on was we want to have people's expectation is that they're able to repay it and expect to be able to repay it. And hopefully that will be the case. We understand that there's still a lot of uncertainty ahead of us. I think we thought about grants, quite frankly. I think the issue is then I think it makes your decision process more difficult because you're going to have people applying for grants who, if they were applying for a loan, would not be able to repay the loan. So our thought process was 0 interest, no collateral, personal guarantees. With the expectation, starting in January 2021, that we would establish an amortization schedule for these folks. And how we kind of drafted it in our minds was that we done the term based on the number of employees they had. So recognizing that smaller businesses are going to have a little more difficulty getting up and running than larger ones, 10 employees. And that's, of course, we can change that to some extent. So since we have such a limited pool and we want to definitely get it out to the folks that are going to benefit from it and are hurting from it, from this situation right now, and hopefully be able to maintain their business so they can get back up and running in the future. This is how we hashed it out.
All of these loans come before the board?
No, we're envisioning that staff will have the tool.
Lydia, can I ask, what's the process in determining who gets it? Is it going to be a first come, first served basis? I guess I'm just kind of worried as to every good deed that people try to do, people find a negative, and are they going to say, oh, you're showing favoritism towards this company over my company? How's the process going to work?
Well, we're requesting, and there's an application, a very brief application that's been developed, and we're requiring folks to give us 2 years, or 2 quarters rather, of New York State 45 here. So we're going to be able to see that they had a stable employment prior to the crisis. That's one of our thought processes, that those folks that, were able to maintain employment, in the last 2 quarters of 2019 will most likely, and we're asking for a statement from them saying what do you envision you're using the funds for? What is the impact of the crisis, and quite frankly, there's not going to be funds for every loan request, without a doubt. So we will, to some extent, look at first come, first serve. It's going to take us a few days to process each application. So, I think we're going to have an onslaught early on, and we'll evaluate them and move forward.
The loan is up to 10 grand?
Yeah.
Thanks, Lydia.
Good, thank you, Lydia. I guess my only suggestion is I need to do a roll call here since we're setting aside money. But I know that we're in a really fluid situation. There's some stuff in draft form. I guess I would ask if we kind of designate Jeff and his finance committee as the board contact if Anna and Lydia require guidance through this. But with that, I'm asking for a motion to allocate $500,000 for this program. Or Rachel or Robin, if you wanted to roll through a roll call for voting.
Do you have it?
Let's put the motion out first. Peter, this is Pete Pico. I'd like to make that motion to the revolving loan fund up to $500,000 as described.
I have
Thank you both.
a motion and a second. Peter, would you like me to run through the roll call?
Please.
Hanif?
Yes.
Jeff Barker?
Yes.
Dave Brooks?
Yes.
Tim Brown?
Yes.
Chris Johnston?
Yes.
Alec Krasanowitz?
Yes.
Andrew Laniak?
Yes.
Peter Pecor?
Yes.
Zach Phillips?
Yes.
Joe Rizzo?
Yes.
Lynn Ryan?
Yes.
Phil Smith?
Yes.
Dave Zorn?
Yes.
Peter Hinn?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your attendance. We have a full house. I need a motion to enter into executive session.
I'll make the
So
motion.
moved.
A second?
Glenn, I'll second.
Any opposed? We are in executive session then.
Wait,
We-
don't stop.
One
Stop.
moment, we just need to turn off our live stream.
Okay.
Thank you. And we're all set. We can go ahead.